Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadai Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adoration to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Utpatti Prakarana. And presently we are moving to our section 110. And you have heard the story of King Lavana. I'll just give you some highlights, reiteration. King Lavana was a great king. It is in the line of King Lavana that Rama is born. It's the same Raghuvanshi line. And Sage Vasistha was his priest, royal priest. This is a storyline, so you have to understand, not to match up with exact history. That's all allegorical description. Stories are told not because they are historical facts, but through this story, a message is being conveyed to you, just like with fables. And if you go into very profound level, we are all fables. If not today, then tomorrow. But not going too far. So, according to the story, King Lavana ruled a country known as Uttara Pandava from the solar race. Powerful king, very virtuous. And while his court was in session, suddenly there appeared a magician, and he requested the king to permit him to show his power, magic, the magical power, for entertaining the king and the royal court. And the king could hardly say anything. The magician started creating a magic. And while King Lavana was just looking on, and the magic has started, there appears a gift from the neighboring king, gift in the form of a white horse. And the king became very interested, focused his whole attention on the horse. People were waiting, what's the king going to say? And then look at the king, and the king passed into ecstasy, got into a trance. He lost his body consciousness. And it's old-time politics. People have no choice they wouldn't say anything. They have to simply wait and wait and wait. For 2 hours, the king stayed in trance. And then, when people were losing all their patience, suddenly he opened his eyes. As if he is facing a big hurricane. His whole body was shaking. And he, opening the eyes, said, what is all this? Whose palace is this? Who are you, all of you? And they said, O king, what has happened? You are in your own royal palace. You are seated on the throne. We are your ministers. Please tell me what happened. Then the king began to tell a big story. That when he saw the horse, he just went after the horse, rode the horse, and the horse just went on galloping and racing. And he raced on, and nobody followed him. He went out of the boundary of his kingdom, went into deep forest, first crossed the big desert, then entered into a forest. And he looked around, can't he just stop? The horse wouldn't. He found one branch, accessible, reachable. So he held his hand, clung to the branch, and let the horse go. By this time, it was evening time, and it was wintry season. A lot of chill and cold. He somehow found the tree as his support. In the tree, there was a little hollow, and he entered inside like the rabbits, etc. do. And early in the morning, hardly the mist had lifted. He felt so hungry. Only thing in his mind was, where can I find some food? And then to his great delight, he sees a lady, young lady, carrying basket of food on her head. And he came down from the tree, went after her and said, please, give me some food. Be gracious. And this lady of the wild tribe had never expected good royal personalities bowing down to her and pleading for food. She said, don't you know, I'm an outcast. He said, doesn't matter. Just give me the food. But the maiden said, we are not like you of higher class. When you do something, you have to repay for it. He said, I can pay anything, just tell me, give me. He said, my repayment is marry me. My father will be very happy. And he had no choice because he wouldn't give me food unless he agreed. So I said, all right, I marry you. So now, let's tell all this to my father. Come with me. Could give him some food and led him to her father, who was working in the nearby farm. And both of them approached the father. The first impression of the king, looking at the father, was strange. He had never seen such ghastly personality. Person, wild tribe with a strange mustache, a strange beard, and strange hair. The whole body is not, and teeth coming out. But however, he has all that his mind was that, all right, let me get married. And then father took them, his daughter and the king. All the three went to their home. The home was nearby. And everywhere the king, as he looked around, he saw limbs of monkeys, chicken, crows, And he used to go and step over it. It was a living hell. And then when he approached the house, who came to welcome him? His mother-in-law. And mother-in-law was another strange personality, cross-eyed, on top of her ugly figure. And she looked over and examined him, the top to the top. And she said, right, he's okay. So, with the Chandala festivity, in a festive way, he was married to the Chandala girl. And he soon forgot about his being a king and how did he live as a king with all his glory and power. He just was a Chandala all day and night, looking after the wife and all the responsibility of the householder. Not ordinary house, it's a house in the wide wilderness. And then they had a first child, a female child. And then a few years later, a boy. And a few years later, another boy. I lost calculation of the years. And maintaining that family, that's a joyous thing. Every day there will be some trouble. The wife was never in harmony. And then the people around, they were not in harmony. There were always little things that will create a tremendous calamity over the smallest little thing. But it's a wonderful forest, and a house, and a wife, and children. Many years passed, and so happened that it didn't rain for a long time, and there was terrible famine. There was no food anywhere. And they had to escape in the night, just without telling their relatives. They means the king, his wife, and his children. And as they escaped and went through many forests, becoming exceedingly tired, the whole family just collapsed under a tree and went to sleep. The king pretended to be asleep, not sleeping, and he has come to a complete state of despair that that's enough. But while he was in this state of despair, his eldest son, known as Vichar, asked for food. He said, Father, I'm exceedingly hungry. Give me food. He said, I have no food. I can't give you from any. He said, no, you must give me. He said, I have only my physical body. He said, just give me that. I said, you can eat my body? I don't care. I'm so hungry. All others were sleeping. The wife was sleeping and some children were sleeping. They didn't know. And the king, who had become completely in the state of despair, said, all right. He brought some dry logs of trees and old-time fire, created fire rubbing wood. And when the fire was blazing, he jumped into it. telling his son that when I get roasted, you take care of it. You must realize I'm also spicy of this, no? And that's the time that people in the royal palace saw him shaking. That's when he had jumped and he was facing the fire. And by the time he began to open his eyes, he sees he's totally in a different setup. When he said all this, the ministers realized the magician had played trick with the king. So they looked for the magician. But magician had disappeared. And Vasistha says to Rama that I was the royal priest there. All this happened before my very eyes. Now, coming to what Vasistha told Rama now, section 110, the amazing powers of the mind. Vasistha continued, mind consists of vasanas or subtle desires, and through their annihilation, mind is destroyed. This destruction of mind gives rise to liberation from the cycle of birth and death. This old style teaching first give the whole condensed wisdom and then explain it. And the condensed wisdom is all that you experience is in the form of projections of the mind. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. The world experience is Chitta Vrittis. To understand better in modern time is easier to understand. All that you see in your, what you call the little iPad, nothing bad, iPad. So many things appear in the iPad just by the touch of your fingers. Your fingers are the vrittis. And each vritti creates its own big image. Many things can come because of one little touch. Similarly, your mind plays the same role, not on little iPad, big iPad. Big I am is the reality. On that big I am, the illusion develops. And in that world of illusion, all experiences allow your mind to think of millions of years ago. And the big iPad will show you according to your expectations. And there is no limit to it. But no matter how much you see and experience, is based on mental projection, mind. And that's not very difficult to understand. The whole day you go through so many problems, so many challenges, so many good and positive and negative things, that when you go to sleep, mind moves away from you. Nothing is there. But you don't lack anything because you are totally beyond all the mind can envision. And this point that has to enter your mind. That real you is not in the realm of mind. Whatever comes in the realm of your mind is a passing phenomenon. Projections, not realities. Nothing is here to stay. Adversity yes, but it won't stay. Prosperity, all right, it won't stay. I will not detail too much on that. Cycles of birth and death, yes, but all the cycles will break down beyond the mental projection. Even the world of cycle of birth and death, you are describing through your mind. Where mind is not, all these details have no meaning. When you watch a cinema show, so many things are interesting and entertaining and so forth. But reality is all that, when moves away, the screen that was the support of all, that screen remains untouched by all that. And you are the screen, not the projected world of time and space. This is a profound insight Vedanta presents. And that's the deepest core of all religions of the world. I am, that am I. O Rama, it is by ignorance that pure consciousness assumes the role of externalization and becomes tinged by subtle desires. What we mean by pure consciousness assuming the role of externalization, for simple understanding. You are watching, if you have gone to watch a cinema show, prior to that, what are you looking at? Screen. When the show starts, the screen enters into externalization. The magician. The screen remains the screen. But to your eyes, it has given room or given space for a whole world for you to enjoy. The world that is alive and thriving with past, present, and future. And the story is there. What causes externalization? Vasanas. What causes externalization on the screen? Film negatives. Behind that there is a light. Those film negatives are very brittle. While you are old style taking films and film negatives were kept, they remain intact as long as there is darkness. The moment light comes, they have no meaning. They simply burn up. You can have countless data recorded in a film negative. But once light comes, they will simply vanish. So now that's what the Vasanas do. Vasanas are film negatives. They continue to exist as a reality as long as there is ignorance. Ignorance is a darkness. The dark night of ignorance, Vasanas thrive. And those Vasanas become the basis of your show. And when you watch the show, you eat popcorns. But not real popcorns. It's allegorical, I'm adding. It's the type of thing you eat that seeds germinate. They're not really roasted. The real Jivan Mukta, that you are watching popcorn and seeing the show for your amusement, untouched by it. If you are not, while watching the show, you are also becoming a part of this show. And you are creating karmas. Having forgotten its essential freedom, it follows the course of identification with the effects of ignorance. This is the root cause of all sufferings in life. When the vasanas are destroyed by wisdom, all forms of pain are removed, even as darkness is dispelled by the rising sun. To make it very simple, remember 3 points: Mala, Vikshepa, and Avarana. Avarana is veiling, that's called ignorance. From ignorance there arise vasanas. As long as there is ignorance, you are creating vasanas. And vasanas are creating the magic of all your experiences. Experiences that include embodiments, cycles of birth and death, karmas that you create, sanchit karma. Out of that, a little portion brings about your present embodiment called prarabdha karma. While you are experiencing your prarabdha karma, you are creating new karmas. Some will fructify in this very life, and some will fructify in another life. So you are weaving the web of karmas. Now the role of Vasana. Vasana is the most magical aspect of bondage. 3 stages of bondage: mala, gross impurities, anger, hate, etc. But your conscious mind does not bring out all that you hold in your unconscious. In your unconscious, you hold the vasanas. And the vasanas give flavor to all your conscious experiences. Same thing you are touching means nothing. But touching your baby means much. Vasanas. Touching something with a negative vasana gives you nothing but pain and misery. And similarly, go on working out by your imagination. Everyone is led by vasana. You are not how you look, you are not, but you are how the manner in which your vasanas operate. Your problem is not in the body. I'm speaking in a very advanced way. What is near is rendered far by the magic of the mind. Sometimes you have the best of remedies right close to you. But if your karma, your vasana is not agreeable to lead your soul to be free of pain, then you will ignore what is just close to you. Put it in a very another way. You may have the Gita right in your back pocket, or Hanuman Chalisa, or big mantras. And you will not take advantage of them. Your mind will go after many things. And that's the mystery of karma. Everything is everywhere, but your karma creates in your mind a sense of gain and loss, prosperity and adversity. Beyond karma, you are the same when you go to deep sleep. You are the Atma beyond all. Beyond karma, there is neither time nor space. But that aware, that enlightenment, the mind has not grasped. And you are in the realm of your mind. So therefore your problem continues. A jar continues to have water and the sun in it continues to shake. In spite of the fact, the reality is the unshaken sun. Figure it out. How can you remedy the problem? When the mind is agitated, even the lustrous moon seems to send forth darts of misery. Same thing, same word that could inspire you. But when you are under stress, nothing inspires you. Rather, most inspiring things are worst for your eyes. Even nectar, when interpreted by the led by Vasanas, even nectar is interpreted as poison. A human being is like a deer caught in the net of Vasanas in the vast forest of the world process. And spiritual enquiry removes these Vasanas of the mind, like the rising sun that melts away the mist of ignorance. So now what's the remedy? The remedy is Vichar, enquiry. Live your life in such a way that you become aware that you are looking for your essential nature. What are you looking for in your life? And through many lives, what have you been after? Figure that out. That's called Vichar. You have been looking for recovering your essential nature, Sat-Chit-Ananda. And because of Vasanas, though you are striving for Sat-Chit-Ananda, you are not actually aware of it. Let me just explain that point. Everyone wants to live longer and longer, not to die. But not to die is your reality, you are Sat. Therefore, there is an instinctive urge to maintain life. But instinctive urge is not being fulfilled. You are trying to fulfill that urge in the world of time and space. But that can never happen. You want to exist. You want to know all. Nothing should be hidden from your mind. That's Chit, pure awareness. And you want to be happy. How much? Happiest. Ananda. You are through all your activities, you are after these three things: existing, knowing, being happy. When you don't inquire, then all these three you want to discover in the world of time and space. You want to find the screen while involved in the projections of the show. And asking people, tell me, where is the screen? Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Start asking yourself what you really want. And your heart will say, I want absolute fulfillment of love. Finds that which is the dearest. To love and to be loved, both fulfilled, absolutely. That's what I want. And where can you find it? Your own self. Start asking yourself, what is, how things become lovable to you. They become lovable in relation to yourself. Yourself is defined by your mind. Led by ego, you develop the idea, if I have that object, I will be happy. But ego is pointing its finger to the object on the basis of your vasanas. Vasanas color the object like a magic. And then you develop the notion that unless I find that object, I will not be happy. And somehow, you get the object of your desire, but hardly you start a happy life, the object becomes an objective problem. Same thing, same people, same objects that give so much joy at one time, they give so much pain another time. Or whether they give pain or pleasure, they are all perishable. But behind all that, you have been really looking for love of the self. But you are projecting it on objects of the world. It's a profound point. All these profound things don't mean that you should not live your life in a practical way. Your life must be led with integral yoga in every detail. But when you begin to live your life with integral yoga, you become more and more aware that what's the source of your desires? What are you really looking for? And the answer is your own self. Who am I? Realizing the I am, that has been all your mental purpose behind all your mental functions. Now, giving some technique, Vasistha says, first assert, I am not this body, I am nothing but the mind. First try to understand. The idea I am the body is nowhere in your physical body. It comes from your brain, and brain receives it through the mind flowing through the brain. So I am the body is nowhere within your body, it is in your mind. So grow up. Be aware your mind. If you come to that sensitivity, your mind, you can imagine the benefits now you can get. Your idea comes in your mind, I must visit a pilgrimage center. Instead of going into the Google to find how to go there, you simply remind yourself, I am mind, and all things are within your mental realm. Whatever you think, imagine, is within the mind. The entire universe that you can imagine is within the mind. Now, therefore, you can build up a sensitivity to such an extent. Let me dramatize. You can be in your room, but your mind has opened the door to a big garden. Your mind has made it possible for you to become even a peacock or become a swan. Your mind has made it possible, but within the twinkling of an eye, you can be in Rishikesh by the Ganges. Feel the breeze, cold breeze coming with a shower from the Ganges water. If your mind wants to meet sages and saints, all the Saptarshis are there. Want to hear the music of Saraswati's Veena? Is there? How much sensitivity can you develop? Here again, you have to understand, it's not ordinary imagination. As your chitta, as your mind becomes purified, a special sensitivity develops within you. It's sourced by yourself. The innermost self is boundless source. And as you are coming towards your innermost self, your mind's sensitivity becomes so profound that you can have anything in the world. But even if you have all the things of the world, it is much lesser than being close to God. So now come to another level. With the sensitive mind, now you begin to develop a view, a vision that I am enfolded by God, or God is within my heart. Or just remember that Hanuman saying, Deha buddhyat dasoham, as body I am his instrument. Jiv buddhya, I am a ray from the point of view of the soul. And from essential point of view, there is no way. Only Ram, only God exists. All this becomes possible by the magic of your mind. So in order to advance on a spiritual path, practice of affirmation, that an important technique presented by Hindu scriptures or any scripture. In spite of the fact you find all the negative dominating your personality, your mind gives a little room for a positive way. Create a room where you are. Move away from all negativity. Your body is constantly reminding you of mortality. Forget about it. I am eternal. I am Sat-Chit-Ananda, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. But here again you have to gain a spiritual sensitivity. When you make affirmation, it should not be just dry words, palabras. It should be with a great fervor in your heart that I have a big treasure and I'm looking at it. It's not with me, but I'm looking at it. That's called affirmation. First stage of affirmation, that I am not the body, I'm mind. Whatever the mind does becomes the karma of the person. For acts of the body without the assistance of mind are rendered void. All the body can do so many karmas, but in the karmic law they are not counted. Watch your body, how many things it does, even while lying on the bed. Next time take a picture. All karmas mean nothing. Only when mind gets involved with it, Then every finger that you have pointed, every toe that you have shown to others, every eye wink that you have directed, every frown that you have projected, all become karmas. Good and bad, don't become afraid. Some karmas are very ordinary, but they have become karmas. Mind has expressed itself in this entire world. Very subtle point to understand. People are constantly worried to change the world. When will it change? How things will improve? And the answer is so simple. Bring a change in your mind. The whole world becomes filled with glory of God. Not in future, right at this moment. If not at the climax, change your mind to positive, bring more sattva, and you find the world is not as tragic. You have a room for your freedom. No matter how situation is, you are not, in simple terms, the entire world that you are so much worried about. How long will that star exist with mathematics? And they study, million years later, that star will not. And enormous things in this world. Now bring a change in your mind. Move, take mala away and allow Vikshepa, distractions, to die. And allow your mind to have that awareness. The truth behind all begins to shine, that God behind all. Put it still another way. Let your mind understand the majesty of consciousness. Everything that you are aware in your mind, awareness of things in your mind are reflections. The mirror that is giving all these reflections is the pure awareness. So look at the awareness. Think of mind in a state of despair. Stay a little as a sakshi witness and try to study. What is making the despair looking so dense? Awareness. What is that awareness? That's the absolute. Unshaken absolute awareness. That's what it gives. What's that knowing which all is known? And another statement, know the knower. Know the enjoyer. Know that awareness that gives room for, that makes your feelings or emotions all real. Go after that awareness. That awareness, you're saying go after, is an allegorical term. There's nothing to go after. You are that awareness. That's your reality. And your reality means the reality behind the entire universe. You must realize each one of you is experiencing the entire universe through their own mind. And each one of you have the possibility to demolish this entire universe. Not one or two countries or things like that. Because we are dealing with the world of Maya, magic. Mind has expressed itself in this entire world. It is the mind that manifests as the sky, as the earth, as the wind, as the sun, that illumines all the objects of the world. Thanks to the mind. Next time I will remind. Om Triambakam Yamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhan Urvarukmiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshyama Mritat. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.